Hey guys, so I just wanted to share with you 8 things I'm doing right now to save money and just spend less in general. So the first thing is I paid off my car loan. So I do realize that everybody's financial situation looks different, but I did want to say that it saves me a ton of stress every month now knowing that my car is paid off. I did the math and I was going to pay $5,700 if I were to have paid minimum payments on my car for the life of the loan. Once I did that math, I was like, oh my goodness, there is no way I'm gonna let myself make minimum payments on this if I don't have to. So I got serious about it. I printed out my loan, I printed out the financial documents, I highlighted my loan amount, I highlighted the APR and how much I would accrue through the life of the loan, and I just started to get really serious about paying extra on it each month. Sometimes I wasn't actually able to do it every month, but on the months that I could, I was just putting like maybe $200 down extra on the back end of the loan, on the principal amount. $300 extra, whatever you can do. I'm telling you right now, that will start to add up and compound. And once you see your loan amount just going down and down and down, it's going to motivate you to make sacrifices elsewhere so you can get the loan paid off and feel at peace. So that's the first one. The second one is credit cards. I do not use them at all. I have one credit card and it's for emergencies, yet I haven't really had to use it yet before. It only has a $500 limit on it, in which they have been actually pressuring me to increase my limit to 1,000 or more, and I don't want that. I don't need that. I do not want to put myself in the situation where I think I have this imaginary number in my mind of money that isn't even mine. I just feel like it's not a good path to go down if you really can avoid it. Now, there are some situations, like I said, everybody's financial situation looks different, but if you can avoid using credit cards, then I definitely recommend that, especially for things like, I just found out that Grubhub and Afterpay have announced a collaboration together where you can now use Afterpay on Grubhub. I'm sorry, but to me that is insane. Like, we should not be using Afterpay to finance Grubhub orders. That's taking it too far. That's just taking it too far. It's setting yourself up for failure. I understand sometimes every once in a while we all want to order a Grubhub order. It's not the most financially responsible thing to do if you're trying to save money, but it happens. But to use Afterpay to pay for Grubhub is basically another form of credit card and is on another level of, I don't agree with it. I think it's actually very predatory for these companies to collaborate together and offer you a finance plan for a McDouble meal. Anyways, so avoid credit cards if you can. Only use them for emergencies if at all possible. Because when you use a credit card, every time you swipe that credit card, you're exercising a muscle, you're building a muscle you do not want to build. And that's the muscle of spending money you don't have. So the less you do that, the less you're going to trick yourself into thinking you have money that you actually do not have. And there's studies done. And when you swipe your card to pay for something versus when you pay for cash, it affects you differently. Like when you swipe your card, it barely even phases you. Whereas when you use cash to pay for things, then your brain actually reacts and responds differently. And it's a lot more aware that it's spending money than when you swipe a credit card. So anyways, the next one, number 3, is I've been using grocery delivery or pickup to do my groceries. I know King Soopers has an option where if you do $35 or more, it's free. There are other stores, they have their, every store has their own thing, but I mostly shop there. And I just feel like when you have a recipe and a grocery list, it's so much easier to just go on the app, select what you want, add it to your cart and go pick it up from the store versus going into the store, shopping for everything, and potentially getting a bunch of impulse buys that you may not even need. I know when I go to the grocery store, I get lost in every aisle trying to decide, do I need this random tea that I have, 10 boxes of tea in my cabinet, but do I need this random herbal tea? or like cereals or just random stuff. The list goes on. I'm sure you can relate. I'm sure you buy stuff at the store that you didn't have on your grocery list just because it's there and it's enticing and it's set up in a way where, ooh, you know what, maybe I need this. And so I found that when I have my groceries actually delivered, or if I just do grocery pickup, I'm spending less because I am not tempted by all those like, impulse buy things right at the checkout stand, at the cashier, or just everywhere. There's things all over the store that will tempt you to buy it that you don't even need. And so I'm just using delivery a lot more often, or pickup, whatever works best for you. But yeah, it saves a lot of time too. You don't have to spend a bunch of time in the grocery store. It's just boom, boom, boom on the app. You choose what you need. It's actually the same price for the particular app I'm talking about. Same price to get your groceries on there versus going into the store. So anyways, the next one is I've been using things until they're worn out or completely used up. Like I'm talking about makeup, perfume, kitchen stuff, food. I've really been just trying to use things up completely before I buy the next one, because I feel like I have a lot of things in my bathroom, in my kitchen that need to be used up before I buy more. Certain makeup items, nail polishes, things like that. I'm like, I don't need to buy any more of certain items. So I'm just trying to use all those things up until, they're gone. Or also, like, for example, I have a backpack that I've had for years and years, and it's kind of ugly, but it gets the job done. And when I need to go on a quick overnight trip or whatever, I just use this same backpack over and over again. And even though I kind of want to get another one because it's ugly, I just keep using the same one because I don't really technically need to replace it. So just keep using your same things over and over again if you can. Use things up if you can. Body sprays, deodorant, makeup, mascara, anything that you can think of. Don't buy another one until you've used it up. You'll feel better, and it will save you money because you're going to throw less stuff out, and yeah, you'll just feel better. The next thing is I use the same electronics for years and years on end. Like my last iPhone, I had, I think, for 8 years maybe. Yeah, so I do not go out and get the next new iPhone or the next new TV or the next new iPad. I've been using the same laptop since 2016. Okay, like that thing needs to be plugged into a wall at all times in order to work because the battery is not functional on its own. And I don't care. Like I really don't need a new laptop right now, not yet. And so I said, why get a new one? I mean, if the one that I have works perfectly fine, what's the point? I don't even want to know how much the new iPhone costs, but I'm sure the price is diabolical. And yeah, I'm just going to keep using mine and using it over and over again until it bugs out or glitches out or it breaks finally. I think those are, yeah, it was just the iPhone. Oh, and my TV too. I've had the same TV since 2016 as well. And I do not plan on getting another one for a while. Like it was given to me as a gift and it's perfectly fine. It's a flat screen and I just have a Roku stick plugged into it. I don't need a smart TV. Eventually I will be upgrading it, but for now I don't have to. And number 6, I think about big purchases before making the move. Like for example, I kind of want to get a new purse right now, and I saw one a few weeks ago that I really liked. It was expensive, so I didn't buy it. I went back, and it was gone, but that's okay because I like to think about stuff before I buy it. I do consider myself a very frugal and intentional person with my finances, and I'm proud of that. There's a difference between like being frugal and being a cheapskate, and I just feel like I want to think about things really carefully before I buy them. I remember one time I went thrifting with my grandma, and she saw this purple purse that she really wanted, and we decided not to buy it at the time. She said, you know what, if I really think about this purse later on down the road, then I'll come back and get it, and if it's still here, it's meant to be mine. Well, it was so funny because we went back and she said she had a dream about the purse. The next morning we were having coffee and she said she had a dream about the purple purse. So she had to go back and get the purple purse. It's just a cute story, a fun story that I have of my grandma, but it kind of just showed like the way that she wanted to think about something before she purchased it. And I've taken that on myself, and especially the bigger purchases, I really think hard about, do I really need this? Do I need to buy another white sweatshirt? Do I need to buy another pair of tennis shoes? Do I need to buy another jewelry, like another piece of jewelry that I may not wear? Like, is it gonna add value to my life? Those are the questions I ask myself. Oh, another question I ask myself, can I afford this? Can I actually afford this item? And if the answer is no, then don't buy it. Don't do that to yourself, guys. I'm seeing a lot of really intense, like, hyper consumerism, overconsumption going on right now, and I just, trust me, I consume things. I get guilty of overconsumption myself, but I think that it's important for us to talk about these things so it doesn't get too far. So the last thing, okay, so 2 more things. Number 7, I recently got rid of my Nespresso coffee machine because I was getting tired of spending, I wrote these numbers down, I did some math here. So recently they actually went up. It used to be $10.99 for 8 pods, 8 of the Nespresso pods. Now it's like $13.99, at least where I shop. So it's $1.75 per Nespresso pod. So if you do the math, if you're drinking 1 cup of coffee a day, that's $52.42 a month. Now, if you're like me and you drink 2 cups of coffee per day, 60 cups roughly per month, that's $105 a month on coffee pods. That's insane. And especially if you don't make that kind of money, or make the kind of money to where you can afford to buy a $1.75 pod, it's just not responsible spending. And that's what I kept thinking to myself. When especially I did the math, I found out if I buy a 2 pounds of coffee beans from Costco. I did the math and it's roughly 40 cents per cup when I do it that way. So I got rid of my Nespresso machine. I got a little Mr. Coffee drip brew thing, the classic old school one. And I couldn't be happier, honestly, because even though the Nespresso coffee tasted so good and I just felt like I was in a coffee shop at home, I don't need foam on top of my coffee every day. I don't need I don't need a fancy coffee every single day. And to be honest, it was taking away from when I went to, once in a while when I go to the coffee shop to purchase myself a fancy latte or whatever, I didn't really enjoy it as much because I had fancy coffee at home and it just didn't feel as much of a treat. So now I got rid of it. I'm just using the classic Mr. Coffee drip brew thing. And literally, I'm so happy now that I'm spending basically, instead of $105 a month, which is what I was spending before roughly, because I would drink 2 Nespresso pods per day. I can't believe it was costing me $105 a month. Now that I'm doing the drip method, 60 cups a month is $24 versus $105. So it's just significantly less money. And yeah, I kind of knew right away. I was like, it's time to get rid of this thing. It didn't feel responsible to grab the Nespresso pods off the shelf every month, put them in my cart, look at my grocery total go up. It didn't feel like mindful spending. Now, the last thing I'll wrap this video up with is number 8, carpooling. I've been carpooling to work if I can. And it's a good way to save gas money and save miles on your car. Now, everybody's situation may look different. You may not live far enough from work that would justify you needing a carpool. But in my opinion, if you work 20 minutes or more away from home, and you can think of a coworker who lives close to you where you can carpool, it's worth it. Like, you'll save gas. Like I said, you'll save miles on your car. And it's just a fun way to break up the week. Honestly, it can kind of switch up your mundane solo drive to work. And, you know, 1 week, if you carpool with your friend, you're only having to spend gas money on, you know, non-work related errands. And then you carpool, and then you're not having to spend money on gas. And then next week, you can switch. You can drive, your friend can ride with you, and then that way your friend's not having to spend money on gas that week, and they can save a bit. And it just kind of stacks up and compounds, and not to mention it's a little bit better for the environment. So anyways, guys, those are the 8 things I'm doing right now to be responsible with money and just save money. I hope this helped you, and I'm definitely curious to hear in the comments below what are some things you're doing right now to save money, be financially responsible. I would love to hear it. All right, talk to you later. Bye.